Good Thursday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. Hi, I'm Joey McWilliams. You're watching a presentation of the Bryan County Patriot. I'm really thankful you are. Actually, I'm kind of hoping that you are, hoping that you're able to get through tonight and that the internet is working properly. I know the winds are blowing. The storm is very likely on its way, whatever storm situation is coming in. I've heard there's supposed to be a lot of rain tonight, so I don't know much more than that, but we'll go with it. So anyway, thanks again for watching tonight. I really appreciate everyone for stopping by. And let me know, by the way, please, Brian, if you're there. I don't know if you're there yet or not, but if you are there, please let me know if we have sound. That's, I think, the only thing. I just want to make sure that we have sound and you can actually hear what's going on. So Matthew, Jamie, now I see some folks coming in. Kenny, thanks for joining tonight. Foo, glad that you are online tonight, as well as Brent. Man, Brent, I was just thinking about you today, so I hope that you are doing all right and everything is going well. Linda, thank you for joining tonight as well. I appreciate the folks coming through. Jeff, thank you. Okay, that's what I needed to know. Needed to know if you could hear me tonight, so I appreciate that. And I am flying solo. Hope you guys can handle that. We'll look at some numbers. We'll talk about a couple of things. I'd like to go a little bit further into the fallacies of logic and talk about that just a little bit more tonight. Not to go too in depth. And I was, let's see, I don't want to say chided. I don't think I was chided. I think I was encouraged by Mrs. Patriot to not go too deep into a lot of things. And so you're getting a little bit of the teacher in me, maybe the youth pastor in me. I won't say the preacher. You'll know when you get the preacher. I promise you'll know when you get the preacher. Anyway, so everybody, thank you for joining in. Janice, glad that you are here tonight as well. I appreciate that. Let's go to the numbers. We haven't done numbers in a long time. So let's go to the numbers and look at them really quickly and compare them on a state and a national level. 4,330 positive cases in the state of Oklahoma today. Now, this is obviously all of this information is available. A number of the state numbers that I'm going to get are available at coronavirus.health.ok.gov. So, I mean, we're not hiding anything. It's no, do you remember the, what commercial was that? Whatever it was an ancient Chinese secret. I don't recall what there was a commercial back in the 70s. I need to think about that. I think how the person got the dry cleaning done so well. I think that was a laundry detergent commercial. Anyway, this is not an ancient Chinese secret, I guess is what I'm trying to say. These numbers are out there. The United States, as of the last hour, has passed 1,256,000 positive confirmed cases. Oklahoma is 37th in the country with 4,330, behind the District of Columbia also in number of confirmed cases. 32nd in the country in number of confirmed, or in number of dish detergent. Is that what that was? Really? Okay. I'll take it. That's it. You at least recall that, though, Brent. It was an ancient Chinese secret. Okay. I'm going to find, I guarantee you that on YouTube, that commercial is there. It is somewhere on YouTube. So that's fun to watch some of those 70s and 80s commercials again. I guess if you're my age or Brent's age, who's pretty close to my age, I know that one for sure. So anyway. All right. 260 deaths in the state of Oklahoma that are attributed to COVID-19. And if you listen really closely, there are a lot of things that I say that I know exactly what I'm saying. And if you'll catch that, you may want to get that through. 260 deaths that have been attributed to COVID-19. That is 32nd in the country. As of today, the number stands at 12 cases of positive cases of COVID-19 in Bryan County. 7 in Durant, 3 in Meade, 1 in Bennington, 1 in Colbert. Okay, you looked? Okay. 2 in Durant have recovered. 1 in Meade has recovered. 1 person in Meade has died. Bryan County is now 41st out of 77 counties in the state of Oklahoma with that number 12, and actually all alone in number 12. Durant is in a tie with 10 other cities at 70th most cases in the state of Oklahoma. In a tie with 10 other cities for 70th most cases in the state of Oklahoma at that number 7. As of May 7th, 805 people had been hospitalized Total, throughout the entirety of this situation, only 805 people have been hospitalized due to COVID-19. Okay? 805 out of 4,330 cases. That means only 18.6% of those people who have tested positive for COVID-19 have had to go to the hospital as a result of the dealing with the virus. 18.6%. As of May 7th, 260 deaths, 2,985 have recovered. 2,985. That means there are still 1,085 active cases. We'll go to active cases again in just a moment. There are currently 62,847 collection test kits in the state of Oklahoma. We will also talk about that again in just a moment. There are at least 315 available in Bryan County. Today, there were 7 new deaths reported, 76 new recoveries reported, and speaking of recoveries, more than 190,000 people in the United States are listed as having recovered. So there we go. Let's go back then to the, where were we? Collection test kits. It was on BryanCountyPatriot.com today, a release from OK.gov from last week that the governor is encouraging everyone now who wants to be tested, regardless of symptoms, go get tested. Doesn't matter about the symptoms. If you want to be tested, you need to go get tested. That is from Governor Stitt himself. I appreciate Bryan saying something about that last night. I had seen that release and hadn't read down far enough in the release. And I would rather put Bryan County news alone. But some state news is important to get out there. And so I don't mind putting state things, votes in the House of Representatives and the Senate and things from the governor himself. That's fine. But just because it's on there doesn't mean it needs to be part of our news here in Bryan County. And because I didn't read far enough down into that release, I didn't post it 3 or 4 days ago like I was going to. Sorry about that. It is out there now, and the governor has said he wants everyone, regardless of symptoms, even if you're asymptomatic, to be tested. That's going to help with the numbers, I suppose. So there you go. Let's go back to active cases, and let's deal with these numbers once again. I know I said this yesterday, but I think it warrants repeating, especially since the number did not increase between yesterday and today. So let's look. There are 12 cases, positive cases in the state of Oklahoma. In Bryan County. 12. Bryan County has a population of roughly 48,000. Probably more right now. We'll go on the safe side and say 48,000. 12 cases is the equivalent of 1/4 of 1/10 of 1% of the population of Bryan County. 1/4 of 1/10 of 1% of the population of Bryan County. If you talk about the active cases, and there are just 8 active cases now, because of the 12 cases, 3 have already been listed as having recovered, 1 person passed. That means there are 8 active cases right now. That number then is 2/3 of 1/4 of 1/10 of 1% of the population of Bryan County. Say it with me now. 2/3 of 1/4 of 1/10 of 1% of the population of Bryan County. Just so we're clear on exactly what those numbers mean, because we don't need the national media here to help us misunderstand. All right, let's look here. Programming note. 1 week from tomorrow, BCP Live will be on site at the Durant Area Chamber of Commerce. We will be broadcasting there, and it's going to be another one of the virtual town hall meetings that Senator David Bullard is going to be overseeing. He'll be the guest host for the day of BCP Live. I'll be there and be behind the scenes working, excited to get the opportunity to work with Senator Bullard as well as a number of other people. And there are I think there are going to be some interesting folks that are going to be there both on site and who will be calling in remotely and will be a part of the broadcast from the remote end of it. So definitely you need to be tuning in for that. It's at 5:30. That is next Friday. It is May 15th, excuse me, Friday, 8 days from now. That's where that 8 came from. Friday, May 15th, 5:30 p.m., BCP Live again at a special time and guest hosted by Senator David Bullard. All right, blood drives that are coming up because we do want to help the Okla Blood Institute. So I want to make you aware of these really quickly. One tomorrow from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. at Advance America. Okay, that is tomorrow, May 8th. And then after that on May 12th, the next blood drive. This is one that has a special emphasis, I believe. It's going to be at Green Spray, and it is one of the Beats for Baby Blair blood drives. Beats for Baby Blair blood drives. Say that 5 times fast. 12:30 to 5:30 p.m. That is on May 12th. That is on Tuesday, May 12th. So a couple of opportunities coming up right here to be able to give blood in Bryan County. I remind you of the state or of the governor's words. You don't have to have symptoms anymore. And by the way, we're still giving supernatural symptoms to this virus anyway. So, I mean, the list just increased and increased and increased and increases what a quote unquote symptom is or was. Well, now you don't have to be showing anyway. Give the Bryan County Health Department a call. That is 580-924-4285. 580-924-4285. All right. Here we go. Let's get into the fun stuff here. Want to learn something tonight? Or you know what? Maybe this is not learning for you. Maybe this is just a refresher course from something you had in college, or maybe you had a high school teacher that maybe like me. I have to tell you, when I taught high school, I think some of the kids may not have appreciated this that much, but I did my best to not overteach, but also to not pull any punches. And there, especially in the 3 years I taught journalism at Durant High School, I'm wearing my Durant tonight. I need to be wearing some Silo and some Calera and some other schools too. So anyway, but when I was teaching journalism at Durant High School, I have to tell you, they didn't do without teaching. Let's just put it that way. I didn't pull a lot of punches when it came to things that they needed to know about journalism. And I think it made a difference. And one of the things that was big to me about journalism that I really felt like that needed to be gotten across, and I don't know if they had gotten it other places or whatever. I don't think so. But the 5 freedoms in the First Amendment. And so there you go. Hope you know those. Barry, if you're still watching right now, thanks for watching. Appreciate you joining tonight. And we are thinking of you right now. Just want you to know that. So appreciate Barry being on. Rana, thanks for watching tonight too, if you're watching still. All right. We've been talking, by the way, can anyone name the 5 freedoms that are provided for in the First Amendment? Somebody that's watching now. I haven't seen Brian's name pop up. I know he knows those. So I haven't seen Brian's name pop up right now. But if you know those, Travis, shout out to you, man. I'm looking forward to getting to see you sometime soon. If you know those, let me know in the comment section. 5 freedoms provided for in the First Amendment. Let's go over fallacies of logic, and let's bring 2 more into the fold, and we'll continue this for another couple of days too. We have already talked about 4, and this is where we are in dealing with the information that you're getting from the oh boy, somebody knows how to just get under my skin. We're dealing with the okay, I'll just stop right there. Janice put entitlements. There are no entitlements in the First Amendment. There are freedoms providing for in the First Amendment. Robert and Jamie watching. I know you guys have probably heard the 5 freedoms many, many times. No, I meant entitlements. All right. The reason we're going over, I don't think I've talked about this. The reason we're going over the fallacies in logic is that we need to know what is being presented to us on a national level. When we're getting, and really not even on a national level, you can talk about it on a local level, but I'm because most of us get news in some way, shape, or form on a national level. And there are 2 or 3 channels I like to watch, 2 or 3 channels I don't like to watch. But be that as it may, in all of them, you need to understand what's being put forward to you. And so I believe, listen, everybody that's commented so far, everybody that I think watches for the most part, I think you guys are all on top of it. I think you all have a great grasp of it. And I hope that maybe if somebody just happens to be scrolling through or pick up on this, that you just glean something out of this and say, the next time I see a news report, I'm going to be able to really, really pick this thing apart. Should we be picking apart the news? Absolutely. We absolutely need to be picking it apart. Take it apart if you need to. If something doesn't seem right, then you need to take it apart. Doesn't mean you have to call people bad names. Doesn't mean, you have to throw things at the TV or whatever the case may be, but you can pick it apart. So we've already brought up 4 fallacies of logic. The first one we talked about was false equivalence. False equivalence. And the best example that I brought to the table, I felt like I could bring to the table, was the meme I saw that had Tom Brady sitting there, and it said, Tom Brady doesn't start trash fires. Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls. So what they're saying then is, if you don't start trash fires, you're capable of winning 6 Super Bowls. It's absolutely not. Now, the same characteristic is found in Tom Brady. But those two things are not equivalent. And it's a false equivalence just because there's one thing in common between the two. You cannot tie them together. A reporter very recently asked the President of the United States in a press conference, a White House briefing, well, since more people have now died in this COVID-19 crisis than died in the entirety of the Vietnam War, do you really feel qualified to run for re-election? Or do you feel like you should be the person running for re-election? It's completely false equivalence. And whether or not look, this is not a pro or anti-president thing right now. I'm just presenting you the fallacies of logic. That's a complete fallacy of logic. Thank you, Travis. Religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. Very good. Very good indeed. Our second one, which we see regularly presented by many in the national media, and that is ad hominem. Ad hominem. To attack a person's character, as opposed to being able to attack the argument itself. To attack a person's character, as opposed to being able to attack the argument itself. I could just leave that right there, because I think we all get that. And Bryan had mentioned even on a couple nights ago, it's what we see all the time. All the time we see this on a national level. Third fallacy of logic we talked about was the circular argument. And that I mentioned, even citing the fact that I had seen recently. Hi, Linda. Thanks for joining tonight. Really appreciate that. Brian is online tonight. Appreciate you stepping in. I mentioned that about a month and a half ago, I had seen different websites cite each other as sources for a story. Just that circular argument, that one's an easy one to follow. Then the one that really we talked about some last night, and again, we're going to get to 2 more tonight. The one we talked about last night, post hoc ergo propter hoc, which means after this, therefore, because of this. The examples I gave last night, and I gave a couple in particular. Sean, thanks for stepping in. Appreciate you seeing you tonight. And Linda, hi. Thanks a lot for being here. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. After this, therefore, because of this. Now, I could say that I turned on all the lights in my house, and then I found out later on my electric bill was high. Well, I could say then my electric bill was high because I turned on all the lights in the house. There's evidence to back that up, because my electric bill is based on the electricity that is used in the house. If all the lights are in the house, then yes, because all my lights were on, then my electric bill was high. I could also turn around and say, I turned off my porch light, my house got robbed. To be able to say, well, my house got robbed after I turned off my porch light, is not necessarily the truth. My house could have been robbed if my porch light had been on. My house could have been robbed because I left the front door open. My house could have been robbed because any number of reasons, just because I didn't turn the porch light on. And it followed that my house was robbed, the two things don't necessarily line up. There's no evidence for that. Hi, Jace. I love you too. If this, then that. Just because this happened after this doesn't mean this always caused this. Okay? Just because this happened after this doesn't mean this always caused this. I mentioned also last night that just because, we have started to open things up in Bryan County. The number of positive cases have gone up. But just because the number of positive cases went up after we opened it up doesn't mean opening things up caused the number of positive cases to go up. And we talked about that too, because there's such a delay in testing, and there's a delay in results, and there's a delay in reporting after the results. You cannot put those two together and say this is the definitive reason why this happened. Let's get into two more here really quickly tonight. Talked about ad hominem before. How about ad populum? Ad populum. Here's our first of two new fallacies of logic tonight. Ad populum. It's because it's the popular thing. It's because here's a good one. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it. So there must be something to it. Everybody is just because everybody's doing this doesn't make it the right thing to do. I'm sure that most of you heard things like this from your parents when you were growing up. If everyone jumped off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff? And the flip side of that is, and I've learned later on in life too, if everyone jumped off a cliff, after a while, it wouldn't be that far a fall. There's a lot of people that, anyway. We'll just let that one go. I thought it was funny. Hi, Kristen. Hope you thought it was funny. Anyway, so just because everyone is doing something doesn't make it the right thing to do. The majority of people in the country could agree with the decision from the Supreme Court doesn't make it the right decision just because more people agree with it. The majority of the people in the country could disagree with a decision from the Supreme Court, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's the wrong decision. See, there are arguments involved. There are facts that need to be presented. There are reasons that need to be brought to the table, and not just because it's the popular thought process. It's a fallacy of logic. The final one I want to get to tonight is this one, false dilemma. False dilemma. And this is really where I see a huge one that is being presented by the national media. The false dilemma fallacy of logic really comes about like this. The answer was because I said so. Thank you. That's the answer you get from your parents. Because I said so. That's why. And it doesn't matter if that's popular or not. Here we go. False dilemma, which is also known as either or. You're presented with two options, period. There are only two options. There is no third option. There is no alternative. There are only two options. So you may have seen this, and I don't think I ever did this as a kid, but I have heard this kind of thing done. Well, you need to buy this toy for me, Dad, because if you don't buy this toy for me, that means you don't love me. So either you buy the toy for me or you don't love me. If you buy the toy for me, you love me. If you don't buy the toy for me, you don't love me. Now, everyone within the sound of my voice recognizes that's absolutely inane. Okay? There is nothing to that is the right thing. Hopefully you never did that. Hopefully your kids have never done that. My kids have never done that. Jace, you never did that. Did other things, but you never did that. Anyway, no, those are all, that seems to be cut and dry. Okay? And yet, now please reserve your opinions on whether or not we need to open everything in the country back up. Okay? I'm not saying we have to open everything in the country back up. But I am saying we have heard from the national media, either we keep everything shut down, or we open things back up and hundreds of thousands of people will die. Will die. It's an either or. It's a false dilemma. It leaves no room for the ingenuity of the American people. It leaves no room for the fortitude of the American people. It leaves no room for the American people to social distance themselves, stay apart, build up some immunity, by the way. These tests that are going out, and still more and more people are saying, we're not tested enough. We're not tested enough. We're not tested enough. If we tested more people, we'd find out more people had it. You're probably right, which means they had it, didn't affect them. They went on their way and never knew anything any different. But this is presented to us by the national media. Either we keep everything shut down New York, shut down California, and shut down you flyover states too. Who do you think you are opening things up? This hasn't gotten to you all yet. You just wait. It's going to blow up. I don't believe it's going to blow up. And again, that's fine. Maybe my opinion. But I don't believe Oklahoma's going to blow up. I don't. Oh, Sean has amended his statement. He heard that coffee heals the coronavirus. Oh, excuse me, cures the coronavirus. Well, you know what, Sean? Here we go. I will use a fallacy of logic right here, right before you, right now. I have been to the Opera House Coffee House this week. I have had some coffee. I don't have coronavirus. Therefore, Opera House coffee cures coronavirus. There you go. Somebody tell me which fallacy of logic I just presented to you. Probably going to find out more recovered. You're exactly right, Jamie. That's exactly right. Somebody tell me which fallacy of logic I just used. Come on now. I went to the Opera House Coffee and got coffee, and I didn't get coronavirus. Therefore, Opera House Coffee at least prevents it. There we go. Opera House Coffee prevents coronavirus. There we go. You're going to be there in the morning? All right. See, we already know what it does. Either or. Either we keep the country shut down, or we relax the guidelines and hundreds of thousands of people will die. Will die. It said it on a chart. That's how I know this, because they will die. It doesn't have to happen that way. The American people are good people. The American people are ingenious people. We have ingenuity. The American people, and I'll go ahead and say this too, for the most part, the American people are praying people. The American people are wise people for the most part. And there are some nutcases, and we all know one, and sometimes we probably act like one ourselves, each one of us. The American people are good people and do not have to be limited to the false dilemma of either we keep everything shut down or all these people will die. That is a fallacy of logic, and the next time that the national media tries to present that to you, you ought to throw it back in their face. Not literally throw things at the TV, but you ought to know you know better than that. And the thing about it is, really, they do too. They just don't think you do. They have, I believe, Joey's opinion, labeled as such. I believe that some of them have a contempt for flyover country. Part of the reason is because they don't think that we're that smart. Part of the reason, there are people who are literally mad that our state didn't shut down entirely. Well, who do you think you are to keep on going? We don't live on top of one another. Things are spaced out here. Some people are spaced out here. No, anyway, things are spaced out here. We don't live on top of one another. There are all kinds of differences. They do have a bit of contempt for us, I believe. Again, Joey's opinion, labeled as such. But we know, and you know, and it is a fallacy of logic. Don't take it. Shelly, thanks. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Jamie, thanks. Thank you very much. Some people that die are I'm sorry. Some people that die. Exactly. Yeah, Linda, you're exactly right, and we've mentioned that a few times on here because of the way death certificates are set up. Not every person that dies with coronavirus dies of coronavirus, and not all the people that have been listed as having died of coronavirus have already or even close. So there are more there are more cows than humans in Oklahoma. Is that true? It could be true. I don't know. I can't back that one up, Jamie. You'd have to let me know for sure. I don't know if that's true, but it could be. Could very well be true. All right. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up tonight. We crossed the 30-minute mark, and I didn't even have a guest tonight. Thank you for watching. I hope you had fun. I hope you that is true. Okay. I'll take your word for it. You heard it right here on the BCP Live. More cows than humans in Oklahoma, and that's why we don't shut things down. That's all right. Listen, shop local. We do want to buy local beef, and we want to buy local products, and we want to shop local and support our people here. There are a lot of wild stories going out about food supply and where it is and good, bad, and otherwise. I want to pray our food supply is in good shape. I want to be able to continue to eat well and my family eat well for years and years to come. So I hope that's all right. But we definitely want to shop local, support local, buy USA, and, we want our country to be great. For everyone that stopped by tonight, let me remind you really quickly, I want to say thank you to you for stopping by. Also, BCP Live next Friday at 5:30. Eat beef, everybody. I'm all in favor of that. I have no problem with that at all. I also want to give a shout out to some folks really quickly. Shout out to Alliance Mortgage Group, to Castile's Tire. Stopped by there today. Said hi to Tammy. DW's in Calera. Friends of the Library. Holmes Coffee Murray Funeral Home. Modern Abstract. Shelburne Heating and Air. Texoma Engraving. Woodman Life. I really appreciate you all and all the other advertisers and sponsors that help make the Bryan County Patriot basically run. And I really, really appreciate you and all the advertisers. I appreciate all the folks for stopping by. Arnold, we actually have numbers. We have numbers to go with it. All right, here we go. Maddie, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. From Arnold Bourne, who is a reliable source, as is Jamie Miller, reliable source here. 4.3 million cows, 3.9 million people. Go Sooner State. There you go. And that's why we don't told you. It's not that I didn't believe you. Hey, look, every now and again, the journalism side steps out. I want to be able to source it. So now I can officially say, and we have numbers to back it up. So you heard it right here on BCP Live. Thanks for watching tonight. I had fun. I hope you had fun in a lot of these things. Don't forget, here we go. 5 freedoms. Travis did them for us. Freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to peaceably assemble, and the freedom to petition the government for a redress of grievances. We also talked about fallacies of logic, such as ad hominem and false equivalence, the circular argument, as well as post hoc. That's what it's often called, post hoc, ergo propter hoc. And then, of course, tonight we talked about a couple more, ad populum, and we talked about the false dilemma, or the either or false fallacy of logic. Hope you've had fun. I've had a lot of fun. Watch the national media next time, armed with these fallacies of logic, and check off the list and see how many of them they throw your way. In the meantime, be wise, use discretion, and do not walk in fear. We're going to do this again tomorrow night. I've already been talking to some guests for next week, and next week's going to be a lot of fun too. So be back tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. All of you folks, thank you so much. I love you. I pray God bless you. And you guys have a great night then.